And now we're going to be discussing our pickups. Wes, we haven't discussed this ahead of time, but I was thinking maybe
We
we go
didn't.
back and forth or so. Like, let's do this first. How many pickups do you have?
So I have 11 pickups.
Okay. I have seven plus one, which I'll explain because I just picked this up not at a convention, but I'll just throw it in here for the hell of it. So let's say I
Okay.
have eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have 11. So you definitely need to go first. Why don't you go twice? That'll put you down to 9, and then we'll be kind of even at that point.
Okay. Well, my first pickup was Street Fighter Tekken for Xbox 360.
Nice.
I saw it on the shelf. I knew I had it, but when I checked my Game Eye, it said I had it for PS3. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay. I could have sworn I had this for 360, but really good condition. Disc was mint, so that was one to pick up. And then there was a vendor that was selling import Super Famicom games, so I
oh,
had to
cool.
pick up. I had to pick up my Dragon Ball Z because I have
Nice.
Dragon Ball Z 3 for Super Nintendo imported, and so I grabbed this, which was pretty cheap. Um, yeah, so that's my first two pickups.
And that wasn't released in the US, right?
It was never released in the U.S. It was all Japan only because this was before America even knew what Dragon Ball Z was.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I think the first one that came to America was on PS1. Is that correct?
Yep, Ultimate Battle 22. No, or was it GT?
I think it was GT, but
GT was
I'm
the
not a
first
Dragon
one.
Ball
Yeah.
person. I just think it was GT, so I could be wrong.
So yeah, so this yeah. Prior to that, there were no Dragon Ball Z games released in America, so I always had to import them.
Cool, cool. All right, so let me start with my non-convention one. I'll start with that one because I'm excited about this. I just picked this up. I was down in San Diego. I don't have any retro game stores near my house. They're all like at least an hour away. But I had some store credit at this one in San Diego for like years, and I finally got down there to use it. I had no idea what I was going to get, but finally, towards the end of me looking, I found this little gem. It's
Ah, the mask.
the mask on SNES, man. And I remember seeing videos of this, and the animation looks fantastic.
uh,
The game got like a 7.6 from IGN when it was, from back in the day, which is, it's okay. But it just looks like a lot of fun. I watched the video, years ago, and I was like, I've always remembered that. And it's kind of uncommon. So
hmm
the sticker price, I didn't pay the sticker price because I had credit and stuff, but it was $69.99 for just a loose cart. Um, but yeah, I'm happy to check this out. I turned it on to make sure it worked, but I didn't have time to play it that night, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
What's your next one?
So my next one is a Sega CD game. I picked up Revenge of the Ninja. So I have a thing for Renovation. Renovation made some great games back in the day. This was a Dragon's Lair clone. We spoke about Dragon's Lair and Space Ace once before. They were a cartoon video game. It's the best way to describe it. It was fully animated, and it was all QuickTime events. And like you had up, down, left, or right, and then you had an action button, and there would be like an indicator on the screen to tell you what to do. So this was kind of towards the end of the Sega CD run. But I saw it and I was like, there was only one vendor that had it. It was just kind of just by itself. Like nobody paid any attention to it. And I saw it and I was like, I need this.
Nice. Yeah, those games typically aren't up my alley. At first, I thought it was like a Ninja Gaiden, and I was like, oh, what is this? But teach their own.
Yeah, now it's one of those cartoon games. There was a few. Time Gal for Sega CD was another one. Road Avenger was another cartoon game. But they were all like Japanese animated adventure games.
I'm sure it's visually awesome, guaranteed. So this first one that I'm going to show from the convention was the first game that I picked up. I knew it actually wasn't on my list, but I already knew in my mind that day. I was like, well, if I see this somewhere, I know it's somewhat uncommon. It's not like it's common to uncommon. It's not rare, but I also don't see it all the time. Um, this was literally at the first vendor I found, and I bought it right away. And I'm glad that I did because I only saw it like once later on in in the entire convention. I saw it one more time. Maybe other people had already bought it by then, but it was in way worse condition. This thing is like in very good condition, and that is Godfather Part Two on Xbox
Ooh.
360. So I have the original. I've had it forever, and I never
Mhm.
picked this up. And I heard that this one was actually much better than the first one. So looking forward to checking this out in the future at some point. But this was something that I was in my mind, but not on my list, and it happened to be right there. And the guy gave me a deal on it right off the bat too. So that was another cool thing. Like I got $5 off of it. He was asking
Okay.
25. I got it for 20. So
The first one was good. Like the first Godfather game,
mhm.
it was good. It was good.
Yeah, they did a good job with those games. Surprisingly, I don't think they sold like extremely well. Like I think they sold, but not like not like GTA, obviously.
So my next pickup was for the Sega Saturn. It
Nice.
was a game I had, and I don't know what happened to it, but I was happy to find a really good copy of Clockwork Knight.
Nice, man. I that is something I want to get for my Saturn for sure. I don't have a
Mhm.
ton of Saturn games, but that's definitely one I want to get because I remember playing the demo for that. Never had
Yeah,
the full version, but I remember playing the demo over and over again.
I don't know what happened to mine. I don't know if in my sleep I traded it in at some point in time. And I've been looking for it, and every time I would find it, it wouldn't be complete. It would be missing the instruction manual, or the box was cracked, or the CD wasn't in good condition. This one, I found this at the convention, and it was really really good shape. Um, got a good deal on it. I was looking for the second one. Looking for the second one. One vendor had it. He wanted too much money for it, so I was like, maybe next time.
What was it going for?
The second one,
Yeah, do you remember?
I want to say he was asking like 125 bucks for it.
Mm. Okay, yeah, it's I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. That for Saturn games, maybe that's not crazy. Saturn games were so expensive, but no, that's cool, man. Yeah, I got to get some more stuff on my Saturn. I just have to spend more time thinking about what I want, and, like kind of like doing what I did this time. Just make a list so I can figure out what it is I need to shoot for.
Mhm.
So this next game was on my list. This was the I got this on day two. In fact, the next three games were all from day two. Um, and I waited because these were all common games, and two of these three I was not even intending on buying. But to my point earlier, people were willing to negotiate on the second day. Yeah, I at least looked around for this on the first day. To Wes's point, don't buy from the first vendor. Uh, the Getaway on
Oh yes.
PS2. So the first vendor that I was considering get it from had it for I think $15, which was even then it was overpriced. I think it
Mhm.
was like a $10 game or something. And he was kind of willing to negotiate, but he had two copies and they were both kind of crap. I was like, I'm good. This game will be around, and I saw it at other places. And then finally on day two, it was kind of early. I walked up to this guy and he had a copy. I was like, oh, what's going on with this? He was like, before I could even say anything else, he's like 50% off everything. I was like, okay.
Wow.
He's like, I don't care what it is. I'm like, all right, well, can I check out this game? He like opened it up, dude. It's in like perfect condition, right? So then I was like, he's like, you want anything else? 50% off, just take it. Like, I got to move this stuff out of here. So while I was there, I found some unexpected things. I have some of the Strike series, but I did not have Desert Strike for Sega
Mhm.
Genesis. So I picked up Desert Strike with him. And then it was kind of a joke, but he was also egging me on to buy it because it was so cheap. But you'll love this one. I got Batman Forever on Sega
Oh
Genesis,
my god, that game was
which is
horrible.
not a good game. And I was talking to him. I was like, I know this game is terrible. I was like, but it is in very good condition. And He's like, just pick it up, just pick it up. And I was like, well, how about this? I was like, if I buy all three of these, why don't you give me all three of them for $10? And he was like, okay.
What?
I
What?
paid $10 for all three of these games.
Wow.
I just wanted to see if he would do it. I was like, if he didn't, I would still probably buy them. But I was just like, well, he just wants to get rid of this stuff. And it's like, to be truthful, this was the only game I really wanted. I kind of wanted Desert Strike, and I would,
Mhm.
I was only getting this because I paid $3.33 for it at the end of the day.
You know what? My buddy was looking at a Batman Forever.
Was
He
he?
didn't get it for dirt cheap. He didn't buy it, but he kept looking at it. Vendors that had it, he kept looking at it. I think going was like 15 to 20 bucks.
Yeah, like all those games there, like Desert Strike, I think was like $15. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Getaway was like around 10, and Batman Forever was I think between 10 and $15. So
Mm-hmm. Oh man, the Getaway, such a great game, man.
similar to before, I've only ever played the demo. So I'm gonna
Such a
crack
great
that
game.
PS2 open soon.
Oh, oh, you're gonna love it. It's so good, so good. Um,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
yes.
throw three in there, but it was a story, so I had to put them all together.
Oh no, that's awesome, bro. So my next pickup was Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Isn't that not a good game? But I don't know. You tell me. I don't remember.
Arcade's Revenge. I had it for Super Nintendo. Again, I as everybody know my tragedy. I had a younger brother addicted to drugs, sold a lot of my stuff. So I found it for the Genesis, and I scooped that up. It was an okay game. It was a side-scrolling action game. Eh,
I
not
know
one of
one
the
of those
better.
X Men games is terrible. I know one of them is fantastic and one of them's terrible. I just don't know,
Hmm.
remember which one is which.
That one was average. It was average. It was not one of the better Spider-Man games, but it had the X-Men in it, so whatever. I got it. Um,
With his Spider Man shirt on.
exactly. Then I picked up Golden Axe for
Nice,
the Genesis.
nice. I have that too.
The Sega Classics one. I was looking for the black boxed one. Nobody had it.
Was the
Nobody
classics
had it.
version cheaper or more expensive? I am curious about that. Or do you
It
not know?
it, it was cheaper by like $3.
Okay,
Not a whole lot. Um, but yeah, so I picked up Golden Axe,
nice.
and then I picked up Fantasia for the Genesis.
I don't think that I ever played it. The movie sucked, but I don't think I ever played the game.
What? Oh man, the movie is such a classic, especially the Mickey Mouse scene, the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I, I might have just been too young, Wes, but I hated that movie so much. My sister got it, and she would put it on and be like, "Why are we watching this?"
My son's gonna hate me, but we, when he was a baby, we would always put on Fantasia because the music kind of soothed him because it was all classical music,
Oh
and,
yeah, yeah, that
and
makes sense.
it soothed them and it calmed them down. And but yeah, because Disney did some really good games for the Genesis.
Oh
We've
yeah,
talked about
yes.
Aladdin. We've talked about Lion King. We've talked about
Mickey
uh,
Mouse's Castle of
Castle of
Illusion,
Illusion.
Crack Shot.
Yep. So yeah, so I was like, oh, this is the only one I didn't have. I didn't have this, and I don't have Jungle Book. So
Okay.
Jungle Book will be on my next go round. So I picked up Fantasia,
What is that
and
like? Do you know? Is it like a side scroller, like action platformer type of game, or
it's very Castle of Illusion,
okay?
but set in the realm of Fantasia, like the
Fantasia.
whole like that segment, Mickey being the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay,
But it's a side scroller, and the walking brooms are like your enemies, and you're jumping on them, and
sounds about
yeah,
right.
man,
It's
yeah,
probably a good
man.
game to be honest with you. All those Disney games were great back then.
Oh
Most of
yeah, they
them.
were, except Beauty and the Beast. That was total trash,
I never played that one.
trash. And then I picked up a game on your recommend because we talked about hidden gems, and we were
Okay.
talking about Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah.
And you talked about this game so much, and I never owned it, so I picked up
Nice, man.
the Porky Pig game. You
The
said it was
game
great.
the gameplay is solid, man. But like the animation is really, like, dude. At least play the first level just to check out the animations. It's so well done. It's so well done. But yeah, I enjoyed playing that. I went back and played that recently. Like I want to say in the past few months. I never had it when I was a kid. This was a
Mm-hmm.
recommend that my previous co-host from years ago, Jenny. She recommended that game, and we checked it out. And yeah, it's an awesome game for Super Nintendo. Um, Probably a little bit challenging for depending on their age,
Mm-hmm.
for like kids and stuff, but something you could play for sure. And I think you would just enjoy the animation. It's just so expertly done in that game.
That's cool. That's what I'm looking forward to. And it wasn't crazy expensive.
Oh yeah,
Complete in box, was 40. I paid $40 for it.
for a complete box, that's nothing, man.
Yeah.
Heck
So
yeah, nice.
what else you got?
So this was on. I think this was a day one purchase for me, but I was looking for this game for a while, and condition matters a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I paid like the going rate for it, which to be fair is not very much at all. But the game is in excellent shape, and that's the reason I got it. Crimson Skies on the original Xbox. So
Ooh,
I have a
so
lot of
good.
I have a lot of bangers for the original Xbox, like some of the best games on there. But I for some reason did not have this, so I had to correct that wrong, and I got my Xbox working. I got a new power adapter for her, so hopefully I'll be firing that up and checking that out soon.
No, that game was so good, bro.
It's just like dogfighting and stuff, right?
It is. It is.
Nice.
But graphics were nice. Oh man, remember when that game came out.
Yeah, it
Very
got really
impressive.
high ratings, man. Really high ratings. Everybody was playing that game when it came out.
Mm-hmm. So my next game was I picked up one for the Master System.
Hell yeah, dude. I looked at some Master System stuff, but my
Mm-hmm.
problem with the Master System is I'm so unfamiliar with it that I don't even know what's good. Like I need to do some to my point earlier, I need to do some research and
Mm-hmm.
figure out what it is I need to find.
Yeah, man. So I picked up Outrun
Hell yeah.
for the
Love
Master
Outrun,
System.
dude. Love Outrun so
I
much.
love Outrun at just as much as you, man. I was looking for it for the Genesis, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. Well, no, that's a lie. I found one vendor had it. He wanted over $100 for it,
Mm.
and I wasn't ready to pay that because that was a little overpriced. So I wound up finding it for the Sega Master System, which is just as good. And Outrun is so much fun.
Outrun's a blast, man. So, if you have a Switch, they have this series called Sega Ages Collections. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
only on the Switch. They have other like classic collections for other things, but they're individually sold, but they're like a few bucks, right? So I think I got that on sale for like $2.50, and it's a game I go back to on my Switch like all the time, because it's like the arcade version of that game.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, dude. It's like dirt cheap. You can get it. I think when it's regularly priced, it's like $4.99, and it's
Hmm.
like the Sega Ages ones are like they go out of their way to find like some of the best emulation of that game.
Okay.
It's not just like thrown together. It's like thought was put into it, and it's like a very good version to play.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Sticking with Xbox, so this was again on my list. This is a game I remember from back in the day. For whatever reason, I never picked it up, but it's something I always wanted. Xbox games are cheap. I think I paid like $15 for this one, but it is Metal Arms Glitch in the System, which was I at the time when it
Yes.
came out, I wanted this so bad,
Yes.
but I didn't have money or something. I have no idea. But again, I got this for like 10, $15, something like that. It is supposedly an awesome game, and I will find out eventually.
Very much so. It's an awesome game. They only did one though.
Yeah,
It, I guess it didn't sell as well, but it was a really good game.
yeah. I remember wanting it very badly back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I got that in my collection now.
Yeah, because it came out for Xbox, PS2, GameCube, but Xbox was the best version out of the three.
Hmm.
Looked better, played better. Yeah, man, good stuff.
Yeah.
Then I picked up Captain America and the Avengers.
Okay.
So
Is that
I,
Genesis?
it is a Genesis. I have it for Super Nintendo.
Okay.
The Super Nintendo one is like way more expensive than the Genesis version for some reason.
Really? Oh,
And
probably because the cardboard box. If you're looking at complete in box, I'm sure that's probably what
yeah,
it is.
this was in the arcade. It's a side-scrolling action beat 'em up game where you could do multiplayer. You pick from like Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Vision, and you just left to right beat them up. You had your superpowers, but yeah, complete in box, man. I saw this, I was excited. It's in really good shape too.
Was it an arcade game originally, or was it made for consoles?
Nope, it was originally an arcade game
Nice.
made by Data East,
Okay.
and Data East
That's a
did help with the conversion for the Genesis one.
nice.
And
How
my
many you got left?
last
Okay.
one, I got one. My last pickup was Spider Man, based off the animated TV show.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah,
probably pretty good.
yeah.
Well, I
Again,
just
another side-scrolling action game.
that's cool. So I'm assuming from the cover, Venom's in the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Venom's in the game. Because then the sequel to this was Separation Anxiety, the one with
Okay.
Carnage. That was the one with the red cartridge.
I remember that. I remember that
Hmm.
that red copy with Carnage. Did is that game just titled Spider Man?
This,
Yes.
yes, is just called Spider Man.
I have a different game that is also called just Spider Man on the
Well,
Genesis.
okay, well, this is Marvel Comics Spider Man.
Okay, and the other one is
The
just Spider Man.
is just Spider Man
Jesus
because
God.
that's the one that was put out by Sega, the one you're
Yeah,
talking about, if I'm not
yeah, it had a black
mistaken.
box and like
Yep.
the border sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, this was put out by Acclaim,
Okay,
and yeah, I think the difference is this is just it's Marvel Comics Spider Man.
interesting. I was just like, why the hell did they name the same game? Ignore. It's like, why would they call it something anything else? Spider Man subtitle. That's so weird. So I have one last one. This
Mhm.
was the probably one of the bigger items I was looking for. I made it a point to seek this game out, and the SoCal Gaming Expo I went to the year before, I saw this in multiple vendors. This year, I didn't see it anywhere. I had to start asking vendors if they had the game, and finally somebody was like, "Oh yeah, it's in the glass case in the front." It wasn't like where their other GameCube games was. I was like, "Glass case?" I was like, "This is." So it's not that expensive. First of all, it's not like crazy, but it was put in a
Mhm.
glass case because it's just probably harder to find at this point. Always wanted this GameCube game from the day that it came out. It's a Sega game, not for a Sega system, and that is Billy Hatcher on the GameCube. Uh, I know it looks like a little kid's game, but dude, Yuji Naka, I believe, made this, right? That was the dude who did
Mhm.
Sonic and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was him. Uh, Somebody from Sonic. It just says from the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm pretty sure it was Yuji Naka made this. But this game got really good reviews. This was exclusive to the GameCube. It wasn't on any
Mhm.
other consoles. Never got, as
Nope.
far as I know, this game was never re-released. You can't buy it or play it anywhere else, which was a big reason I wanted this game for the past few years. So I think I paid $80 for it, which was about the going rate. But again, it's in
Mhm.
excellent shape. You know, it doesn't appear to have any fading or anything like that. The manual's in great shape. The disc is like perfect. So I was happy to pay the retail rate for this since I freaking couldn't find a copy anywhere and was like asking every vendor if they had it until I found somebody who did.
Wow, Billy Hatcher. I haven't seen that game in years.
Only 2 years ago, I found it at a few vendors, and I was like, I didn't feel like paying the price, and I was like, I'll wait, and I think it was cheaper than what I paid for it now. But like now, nobody had it, so
That's awesome, man. Good pickups, man. Really good pickups.
oh yeah, you too, dude. Excited to play some of these.